Cyberspace is an environment comprised entirely of zeros and ones, simple binary switches that are either off or on, no in between, no gradient spectrums, no shades of gray. All too often, when it comes to virtual culture, the subject of race seems to be one of those binary switches. Either it is completely off, meaning race is an invisible concept because it's simultaneously unmarked and undiscussed, or it's completely on. It's a controversial flashpoint for angry debate and overheated rhetoric. So, what are the implications for transdisciplinary studies? African American critics have been discussing the problem of multiple identities, fragmented personae, and liminality for over 100 years now. And through the work of Walter Benjamin, Donna Haraway, Greg Ulmer, and others, we see the implications of these ideas as they relate to digital culture. According to many critics, it has been noted that in cyberspace it is finally possible to completely and utterly disappear people of color. Under these circumstances, we must confront notions of free domain and to critically challenge the mainstream's illusory delineation of race and gender markers as somehow limiting the field of internet usability. For this reason, it is imperative that cultural studies, particularly as they relate to critical race theory, and digital rhetorics stop speaking at cross purposes. And yet the problem remains that the popular stereotype of tech savviness endures as a distinctly white male identity. Behind this implicitly raced and gendered conceptualization lies the idea that people who understand computers, and therefore the individuals who ultimately define and construct cyberspace, are most likely white males. Unfortunately, this trope affects how women and people of color see themselves in relationship to computer-related technology. And in spite of the toxicity of the nerd stereotype, geek is now chic. Perhaps it is for this reason that we now see African Americans finding ways to stake their claim in cyberspace. Nonetheless, those blacks who have gained access look essentially the same as their white counterparts. Cyberspace has a curious way of asserting hegemony, regardless of all claims to the contrary. This is why the very real question of access continues to persist. In the context of cyberspace, social and economic currency in the virtual realm can only be realized through actual hands-on connection to the hard equipment, i.e., command and control over all the sundry bits of plastic and metal as they are situated in our everyday social and spatial arrangements. These are the material factors that ultimately determine the level at which one is allowed to function on a day-to-day basis. Therefore, a useful matrix for closing the digital divide entails securing 4 levels of technological access. They are material access, functional access, experiential access, and critical access. Only after these 4 stages of access have been realized can transformative access occur. Material access begins with equality in the economic conditions that drive technological use and non-use. Of course, a fundamental change to the entire world economic system would need to take place before egalitarian goals can be thoroughly met by expanding technological participation to the populations who have up until this point been denied. Next is functional access. If people are unable to put their hands on the necessary equipment, they will never learn how it works. It's impossible to benefit from the new media if one has neither the time nor energy required to learn the skills and knowledge in this most labor-intensive field of access. And then there is experiential access. At this stage, individuals exercise confident control over the spatial arrangements of technology. In other words, users have to gain agency over where equipment is situated and arranged in their personal or professional environments in a way that goes beyond mere proximity. In order to develop the required amount of fluency with the practical operations of new media tools, experiential access is very much determined by one's social memories and encounters. The 4th level of access is the one that is most emphasized by scholars, but is the least realized by most users of new media. This level, of course, is critical access. With critical access, users acquire the ability to determine not only how to use technology, but why it should be used in the first place and to what end. At this point, users become aware of their menu of technological options and exercise economic and social discretion over what they will and will not do as a result of their participation with digital media. Once all of these levels of access are achieved, transformative access is finally realized. This is the kind of access that is fully engaged with power. Through transformative access, users make and maneuver what cyberspace means, thus establishing what it becomes.